Hey gang, how's it hanging? It's RazMansReality number 4. How you guys doing out there, guys and gals? Doing out there today? Gotta start off today with an omission, if you will, from yesterday's report. I said that the Fiesta Bowl between Ohio State and Texas was the 4th, which would have been tomorrow. Turns out it's actually the 5th, which is Monday. And that game will happen on Fox at 8:15. So I apologize to all you Ohio State and Texas fans out there about that little error. Of course, my opinions about the game still remain the same as I mentioned before. A lot of Time Warner cable customers, especially here in Dayton where I live and surrounding cities and areas that have Time Warner cable, were very, very nervous because news came out just before New Year's Eve of '08, a couple days ago, that there were contract problems between Time Warner Cable and Viacom, who own, of course, the MTV networks, who carry networks such as MTV, MTV2, Spike TV, Nickelodeon, Noggin, the list goes on and on. Overall, about 14 to 17 total channels are under that flag, and they were threatening to pull those stations from Time Warner due to a contract dispute. Well, I do have good news for all you Time Warner cable customers out there. A new deal has been reached in time. There was an extension at midnight on New Year's Eve, agreed to by both sides, and about 1 or 2 a.m. on New Year's Day, I guess they came to that agreement. I don't know the details of the deal. I don't know if we're going to get more HD stations from those affiliates. That, of course, is my hope and the hope of anyone who has Time Warner Cable, because they have certainly lacked in HD coverage. But we'll have to wait and see what comes out of that. But at the very least, we are not losing programs such as TNA, Impact, CMT, MTV, all that good stuff. The little kids aren't losing their Dora the Explorer and SpongeBob SquarePants, so that's a good thing. Last night, Friday Night SmackDown, it was an up and down episode from the WWE. The funniest moment of the night had to be Triple H's promo on Vicky Guerrero. I'm going to make a little disclaimer here. If you're under 18, please don't go out and look for what I'm about to mention, although I don't even think it exists. Triple H mentioned naked photos of one SmackDown general manager, Vicky Guerrero, being on YouTube. I don't think they're out there, though, at all. I think this was just storyline purposes to get under Edge and Vicky's skin. Well, it backfired on Triple H because Triple H got what he wanted. He got in the Rumble match, but as a result, he now faces Triple Jeopardy next week. It is 3 matches. It's a tables match, a handicap match, and a last man standing match. I apologize for holding up 4 fingers there when I mentioned 3 things, fans. It's the CP. Nothing I can do about my bone structure, but it should be very interesting to see what happens to the game next week on SmackDown. Last night on SmackDown, they continued, however, to do something that really gets under my skin as a wrestling fan, in particular a WWE wrestling fan, because over the last year, 2 years, 3 years, however long it's been, WWE has tried to get new superstars in the fold, and there's nothing wrong with that. You definitely want new talent to come into the sport, but they seem to bring in these new guys who have absolutely no talent and absolutely no wrestling ability, and therefore, to me, and wrestling purists, are not entertaining in the least. And they continued to do that last night with the debut of the character or gimmick, if you will, of Kazarni, this guy that's supposed to be a carnival guy, a carny, if you will. And yeah, he walks funny, he has a unique wrestling style, but it was nothing flashy, nothing great, nothing to grab your attention. His finisher was simply a double arm DDT into a weird roll up, and we've seen guys like the hardcore legend Mick Foley use that double arm DDT for years as a finisher. So I was not all that impressed by this guy's debut against MVP. Hopefully he'll get better, especially if the brass in the WWE writing team is going to force him down our throat. In the main event on SmackDown last night, it was the WWE Champion Jeff Hardy and his brother, the ECW Champion Matt Hardy, victorious in tag team action against the number one contender at the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble, Edge, and his partner, The Big Show, who walked out on Edge. So we'll have to wait and see where that goes and what was the result of that. And we also saw last night more of Michelle McCool's heel turn. TNA's first show of the new year 2 nights ago was basically a retrospective look back at 2008 with one live match that saw Beer Money Incorporated retain the TNA tag titles against LAX. It was a pretty good year in review show, not a sleeper show like what we saw from CW a couple weeks ago, so props to TNA for that. Of course, we got the NFL playoffs starting today. We got 2 games on NBC. First, we've got the NFC wildcard matchup. You got 4 wildcard matchups. We got the first 2 today. So the first matchup is, of course, the Falcons versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Atlanta Falcons versus the Arizona Cardinals. I like the Falcons in this one in a very, very close battle, but this one is not going to be easy and should be the more entertaining of the 2 games today, because right after that you've got the Indianapolis Colts taking on the San Diego Chargers, and the Chargers were darn lucky to even get into the playoffs at all with LT and Gates questionable. I don't see them having a snowball's chance in heck of winning this game. So I look for the Colts to blow out the Chargers tonight. So those are my playoff picks for today. I will be back tomorrow with my playoff picks for tomorrow and more. I want to close out today though by reminding all independent workers here in the area. I'm talking DCW, IPWA, UCW, XPW, RAM, it doesn't matter. Head to the Sword Arena in Middletown tonight, the home of XPW, 65 South Main Street, because TNA's own Al Snow will be holding a training session. It's a $50 cover. You get a chance to spend some time with Al Snow. I believe it's already happening at the time this blog will be posted. It's from 10 to 5. And then, of course, you've got XPW action later on tonight. And rumor has it that Mr. Snow will be making an appearance on that show. So you definitely want to check that out. With that, that's all my time. So continue to comment, rate, subscribe. Remember that I call reality as I see it, and that RazMan style, it's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.